Hi everybody. Well, as many of you know, I will be hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm going to hike it next year between April and May 2018. But in advance of that, I'm going to hike 1 week in September, which is in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to try to hike 150 miles starting from the border of Mexico to a place called Paradise Village, where I'll be able to catch a ride and then go into Palm Springs and fly back home. But I want to try out a bunch of gear before next year's longer hike, because that's going to be several hundred miles. I'm hoping to get like 500 miles next year, but so the gear that I want to talk about is the gear that I'll be taking, and because gear changes from time to time, and you want to be more knowledgeable about camping gear and hiking gear if you ever want to go hiking yourself, or and just more knowledge is better than less knowledge, and we've got a responsibility to ourselves to learn as much as we can about everything, and then turn around and teach all that we can to others. So that's what I'm doing here. So this is the gear that I'll be taking. I laid it out here on the table, and the first thing I want to mention is my tent. Or rather, not my tent, but my backpack. So this is my backpack here, and it's made by a company called Teton, and it's a 65-liter backpack. That's how they're measured, by liters of space inside and how much you can fit in there. And as sizes go, this is kind of like mid-range, but they can go all the way up to 95 liters. So this is a 65-liter. I paid $85 for this one on Amazon. And I liked it because it's ultra light, it's very light. With it being completely empty, it only weighs just under 5 pounds. So it also comes with a rain cover that I can pull out and cover the entire pack in case it starts raining while I'm on the hike. It also has a pouch for a camel pack. A camel pack is just a water bladder, which is this thing here, and it fits inside of it, and the tube just gets routed through the pack to come out in the front where you can drink water easily. So I mean, it has a lot of other features that more expensive bags do not have. So that's why I was attracted to this bag instead of the other ones. Again, I bought it on Amazon, a company called Teton. And for my sleeping bag, this is my sleeping bag here. It's made by a company called Mountain Warehouse. I bought it from the Mountain Warehouse store in Aurora, I believe for $49, and it's really light, super light. They never used to make backpacks like this. I mean, rather sleeping bags. The sleeping bags that they made when I was growing up, I mean, they were big. They were very big. But this thing is like super, super light. And it's in a compression pack where you can pull these straps and just squash it down like I'm doing right here. So it fits inside of your backpack real easy. Again, Mountain Warehouse, $49. I think the sleeping bag is going to be a little overkill because I'll be in the desert, but in the desert, the nights get really cold. They lose their heat right away, and then the wind starts to blow, and so it could make for like a really cold cold night of sleeping. But if it does get too hot, then I can go ahead and just sleep on top of it like a bed pad. But for really cold nights, I can actually slip into this Mountain Warehouse sleeping bag liner. So you can actually slip this into the sleeping bag and sweat on this, so you don't sweat on your sleeping bag. So I mean, this will also keep you even warmer. In addition to the sleeping bag, this is the sleeping pad that will go under all of it. So it's about 3/8 to half an inch thick. And I mean, this just gets mounted right up on the top of your backpack like this, gets strapped on. And so those in combination should keep me fairly comfortable. My tent. My tent is actually made by a company called Alvantor. And Alvantor makes all kinds of tents and shelters for camping and whatnot. So the tent weighs 2.6 pounds, super light. And this is a dome tent. You know, I've seen YouTube videos where some of these people are carrying these really ultralight tents where it's essentially just a cover, and so the bottom is open to the environment, to the wind, to rain, rocks, insects. And so I wanted to get something that I can actually get into a shelter that's rain resistant, so that's why I went with the dome tent. I don't mind carrying an extra pound or 2 or 3, as long as I know I can crawl into a shelter that's going to protect me from the environment and from insects and dirt and whatnot. So that's my tent, and underneath my tent I'm going to unfurl this plastic tarp that it'll just lay out so my tent doesn't get dirty or muddied up. This will get muddied up before my tent will. So that's going to be my tent underlayment. And so for water, I'm going to be carrying, of course, my camel pack, like I mentioned. This is the camel pack, like I just showed you. I'm going to be carrying 2 water bottles of Smart Water, and the once I finish one of these bottles of water, it will become, the first bottle I finish will become the dirty water bottle. And what I'll do is I'll fill it up with stream water and use this Sawyer filter. The Sawyer filter can be purchased for about $25 from Dick's Sporting Goods. You can get them on Amazon too. And what it does is it basically screws into your dirty bottle, and then you can squeeze it through the filter into the clean bottle, or some other water bladder. And I have another water bladder that I can fill, so I'll be taking these 2 bottles, the camel pack and the bladder, and the filter will filter out any kind of stream water that I come across. So that's the water I'm going to be taking, and a filter. Let's see. As I mentioned, the filters can be purchased from Dick's Sporting Goods or Amazon for about $25. Camel packs are about $30 to $40 in different places. For my food, I'm going to be taking several meals like this from a company called Mountain House. And of course, this is for beef stew. What you do is you boil water and you pour the boiling water into this pack and let it sit there a little bit until it rehydrates the food, and it's bon appetit. How do I boil the water? Well, this is my stove here. This little device actually is a stove. It screws right into the gas can. This is a propane gas can. And you turn it on and set your pot on top of it like this, and boils the water, and there you go. Okay. So the stove can be purchased for about $20 to $30 either at Dick's or Amazon. Trekking poles. I'm going to be using these trekking poles to go up some steep parts of the path or the trail. $15 to $20 Amazon. They're more expensive if you go to Dick's, but you could go onto Amazon and buy them. They're relatively for low cost. The other thing I'll be taking is Merrell's hiking shoes. These I paid $90 for. They're kind of expensive, but they're really good, very rugged. You got a lot of knobby soles here, They wick away water. If they do get wet, they dry real quick. So Merrell brand hiking shoes. Let's see. Other things I'm going to be taking are, the first aid kit. I just put a bunch of first aid kit stuff in a plastic bag like this, with some Band-Aids and some hand sanitizers, mosquito spray, and some other stuff for taping up a wound if I do get hurt. And then I also have a toiletry bag that I'm going to be taking all my toiletry stuff with. I'm also going to be taking an umbrella not for the rain, but for the sun. So you want to be able to protect yourself from getting cooked out there, because right now they're in triple digits in Southern California. So the other couple of things that I'm going to be taking are just little items. I'm going to be taking a Gerber knife for cutting. It's pretty sharp, cutting whatever I need to cut. I'm not going to need any hacksaw or any kind of axe or anything like that. There's no need for it out there. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on a lot of the hikers that have been going through. I'll be taking a frog tog. The frog tog is a rain poncho, but it doesn't only protect me from the rain, it also protects the backpack. It's big enough to fit over the backpack too. And I can also throw it over the tent to protect the tent in the rainstorm. It's waterproof, not water resistant, but waterproof. I've got a bug net or mosquito net, and that goes right over your hat. And I hear there's a lot of biting flies out there, not to mention the mosquitoes. I've got a bag of all the electronics that I'm going to be taking, and all the connectors and cables that are needed. I have an Anker battery here. This is an awesome device here. You charge them up for like 8 hours, and from that point you can charge your smartphone or your camera. It charges up like an iPhone or or an Android phone for like 10 times, over the course of a whole week. It's unbelievable. So it just needs a little bit of charging time to reset it or charge it back up to full power. I'm also going to be taking a GoPro Hero, and with the head harness for the GoPro. I might be using that. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see how it goes. I'm also going to be taking just some clothes, just not a whole lot of clothes, just 3 or 4 pairs of shorts, maybe 2 pairs of pants and some shirts, some socks. Not a whole lot, and I'm going to have different colored bags for different items. This bag here is going to be, they're all waterproof. This is going to be all my toiletry stuff. And of course a hat. Got to have a hat out there, otherwise you're going to cook your brains. It's so hot out there from what I'm hearing. And let's see, I believe that's it, but I also wanted to give you just a little bit of Pacific Crest Trail history, just so you know where it's at and what it's all about, in case you don't know. So all of this, rather my backpack, the base weight is with everything in it, without water and without food. So the base weight is going to be just under 27 pounds. With the water, with the food, what they call hiking weight. Hiking weight is just over 40 pounds, 40 pounds on my bag. But as time goes on, as I use up water, it'll kind of lighten the load up a little bit. But so yeah, that's not too bad. 40 pounds I carried already before on some practice hikes. So some history of the PCT. There was a gentleman by the name of Clinton Clark in the 1930s who was a Harvard grad and a multimillionaire who funded and founded the PCT. But it was actually a lady who came up with the idea. She conceived the idea of having the trail go from border to border. Her name was Catherine Montgomery, and she was from Washington State. Somehow she got the idea out there and gave it to Clinton Clark, who tasked the YMCA to go out, because he was involved with the YMCA and the Boy Scouts. And he tasked them to go out and try to find the best routes possible, the most impressive and beautiful sites of that area to use as a trail and connect all of these different trails. The YMCA had a lot of members out there, and one of the members in particular, his name was Warren Rogers. Warren Rogers went out, he hiked the entire trail, and he found some of the best and most beautiful sites to hike. And what was really impressive about Warren Rogers was that he hiked the entire trail and then some, and what's impressive is that he was born with childhood polio, and so he had a bad limp when he walked, and he ended up walking the entire trail even so. And so that just goes to show that we can all do it. I mean, if he can do it, we can all do it. And I'm actually inspired by that story. So during World War II, the PCT, actually interest in the PCT faded until the 1950s and the 1960s, when the hippie generation and the beatnik generation came about, and they wanted to go live in communes and live off the land, live off nature. And so it was an automatic attraction between the trail and those groups of people. But in the 1970s, again, the interest faded for the trail, and so up until the 2000s. And in 2014, the movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon was released, and it's the story about Cheryl Strayed, who wrote the book, and it's about Cheryl Strayed's life, how she walked the trail during the, I believe it was the 1980s or the 1970s, and you know, it shows her challenges on the trail and what she did to work out some issues she was having with her life. So the movie generated so much interest that the PCT right now, every April, 1,500 people show up to try to hike it from border to border, and they're called through hikers because they're trying to hike from border to border right through the entire trail over the course of 6 months, 5 to 6 months, depending on how hard they're really moving, hiking. I'm not a through hiker. I'm going to be a section hiker. I'm going to go back year after year to hike another section of it, and so I'm going to be going back every year to try to hike another section of the trail and try to get as much of it completed as I can before I can't, or until I lose interest. I'm just gonna, keep on going at it until I can get as much of the trail done as much as possible, and see how far I get. Who knows? But so that's it. Thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for future videos that I'm going to be posting in September and next year in April and in May of 2018 when I do that longer hike. Okay? Thanks for watching.